Johnny Murr here, and welcome back to another tier list. Today we're going to be doing every console, video game console, so Nintendo, Xbox, PlayStation. I want to do Sega. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to identify which consoles are Sega. Honestly, the only one I've played is Genesis, so that's the only one I'll even be able to have a 2 cents about. But yeah, we're going to be doing all the consoles, handhelds included, by the way. And yeah, we're just going to be doing a tier list, put them where I think of it. We're going to be judging, controller, hardware, the time that it came out. So, we can't compare, like, NES to the Xbox Series X in terms of performance, because it's just, obvious differences. But, in the time that it came out, how was it? And then, of course, the big thing is the catalog, the games that came out during that generation, how popular was the console, stuff like that. We're just going to be doing an overall just look at all the consoles and putting them on a tier list. So, yeah, if you guys didn't catch all my other tier lists, I did pretty much tier list of every franchise from, like, a lot of different companies. So I have a PlayStation franchise tier list, a Nintendo's franchise tier list, Xbox franchise tier list. I even go as far as EA, Ubisoft, Capcom, Sega, all that stuff. Make sure you go check it out. They were absolutely awesome. And yeah, hopefully we can have some more tier lists coming up on the channel soon. Just currently trying to figure out some cool ideas for them. But yeah, let me know in the comments if you want me to do any specific tier list. Maybe we'll just do controllers specifically next. We'll do consoles and then controllers. I feel like that could be pretty cool. But yeah, if you guys love gaming, consider subscribing, sharing with your friends. I appreciate any support you guys give me, especially one in this video. If you love gaming, don't matter, Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo, third party, indie, whatever, this is the place to be. We cover video games daily. And yeah, let's get started with our tier list. And yeah, so our tiers we have are goated, amazing, great, okay, mid, trash, and I don't know. So let's get started with it. I do believe this first one is the PSP. I played a lot of the PSP. That was a nice console I had when growing up. I remember playing, I don't remember, I think it was GTA 3. I think I played a GTA on there a lot. I also played a lot of Pac-Man games. I played a lot of arcade games on that thing, actually. And yeah, I just played a bunch of random things on it, and I really enjoyed it. The problem I had with it, I just could not get over the whole cartridge system. I thought that was really annoying. Granted, I was really young when I was doing it, so it probably was a little more annoying for me. But, it's a nice piece of hardware. It had some fun games, but at the end of the day, I do think it's just okay. It's not a console I ever want to really go back to unless I really need to like catch up in a game story or something. Like if there's like a spin-off that is important for the game story for something coming out, then yeah, maybe I'll figure out a way to play it. But for me, it's not a console I at any point am itching to play or have super fun memories of. But I did enjoy it and it was fun, and it does have some decent games. The original Xbox. So this is an interesting one because you do have to consider this is the first console that introduced online play, like outside of PC, of course. This is the first like online console, and that's really, that at least, in my opinion, I think it's at least great. Am I about to convince myself for it to go higher? I don't know. We're about to find out, but it's definitely at least great. But then you have to look at, it was the first Xbox console. It's a very cool console, honestly. The whole design of it with the giant X on it, the whole boot up, everything's cool. I personally like the controller a lot. I know a lot of people have beef with it. I do not. I think it's pretty cool. But then the big thing is I do think the catalog of games for the original Xbox is pretty great. It's pretty much the PS2 catalog, just without all the exclusives, of course, and then add in all the Xbox exclusives. And so I do think the catalog is really great. And at the end of the day, it only did last I think only 4 or 5 years until the 360 came out. So it was a shorter generation for Xbox. But I do think the original Xbox is really good. I think the original Xbox is amazing. There's not really a lot of negatives I can find about it other than it had a short cycle, and it was a chunky thing. The actual console itself is huge. I actually have one right over there in my entertainment system. Thing is huge. Thing is huge, chunky, heavy, everything. But at the end of the day, I absolutely love it. It's a console that I play today. I was playing Splinter Cell and some of the old Halo games when I first got it, and it's still fun to play. I absolutely love it. Now this thing, I have no idea what that is, so we're not even gonna worry about it. I'm only 21 years. Or I'm not. Am I 21? What am I? No, I'm 20. I don't even know what age I am. I'm not that old, people. All right. PS3. PS3. You know, here's the thing. Is the PS3 hardware is pretty bad in my opinion. There's a lot of issues with it. The controller's whatever. The controller's just a PlayStation controller. It's whatever. But I don't know. It's such an interesting. It definitely is the most mixed console. I feel like. Like there are some aspects about it where it's one of the best PlayStations, and that is the catalog of games. The catalog of games that the PS3 has is stellar. And that's why people want PS3 to be native on current PlayStation hardware, because the catalog is so great. But unfortunately, because of the hardware and its stupid like process system and just technology that it used, it's really hard to get games natively on today's consoles. And there was just a lot of issues. I wasn't a fan of the whole UI stuff. I don't know. I'm very mixed on it, but it is a console that I did grow up playing a lot of. But was it my favorite console when growing up? No, absolutely not. At the end of the day, it's better than the PSP. I don't think I like it more than the original Xbox. I'm gonna go great. I don't think it's bad by any means. There were a lot of issues with it, and you know, looking back on it, the catalog of games is great. Like it honestly, one of the best catalogs of games, period. So yeah, the Atari. I mean, the Atari's great. I mean, yeah, the Atari's great. I think putting it anywhere lower is disrespectful, just because you have to consider the time at which the Atari came out. You know, we weren't getting God of Wars and stuff like that. We were getting, you know, Centipedes. We were getting Pac-Mans. We were getting Asteroids. You know, stuff like that. Pitfall, stuff like that. And those games are awesome for this console. Now, you know, those games on current consoles, you know, they're not like the most exciting things in the world, but this was the start, you know? This was the start. This is what started it all, and it was great for the time. It was great for the time. Honestly, no, it was amazing for the time, but I do think right now, and for me, it is great. I actually do have one. I don't know if it works, though. But, yeah. The Nintendo Switch. So I'm not gonna lie, I've already thought about this beforehand. I personally know what my top 3 consoles of all time are, and the Switch is one of them. I've said this in multiple videos, and I think I'm going to make a full-on video about this in the future, probably whenever the Nintendo Switch 2 gets announced. And I had a rant on a podcast. I wonder if I could find that podcast, because I want to go back to it and hear some of the things I said, because I had some really great points I feel like I forgot about. The Nintendo Switch has pretty much built the ultimate Nintendo library of games. I don't think there is a catalog of games on any other console in existence that has the sheer amount, power, and variety as the Nintendo Switch. Now, we are talking variety within Nintendo. You know, do we have a lot of Call of Duties? Do we have, you know, God of Wars? Do we have, like, insane racing games? No. But, like, in terms of Nintendo variety, you have Metroid, you have Pikmin, you have Smash Bros, you have Mario Kart, you have Mario, you have Zelda, Splatoon. You have so much variety within Nintendo's catalog. And then add that with some third-party support, indie support, a bunch of ports from older consoles, the online expansion within Nintendo. The catalog is just phenomenal. And put that with hardware, while yes, it is very weak, it's so cool. Being able to do handheld, being able to put it on your TV, and the Joy-Cons being able to slide on and off, the Pro controllers for it are great. It really just is in my opinion, the ultimate Nintendo console. It's handheld, it's home console, it's a compilation of a lot of their best franchises. In my opinion, it is goated. The only thing wrong with it is its performance, and that's why I do believe the Nintendo Switch 2 does have a chance of being the best console of all time. I really do believe that. If they could just deliver on what we need, not what. Sometimes Nintendo goes crazy. They just need to deliver on what we need. Backwards compatibility, upgraded specs. And that's really it. That's really all we need, honestly. That's all you need. You could have just made a Nintendo Switch Pro, and it could have lasted like eight more years. But here we are. Nintendo Switch, absolutely goated. GameCube. I think the GameCube is... See, now here's the thing. To me, the GameCube and N64 are on par with me personally. I do have a little bit of more connection with the N64 personally, but like in terms of which consoles I like more, I think N64 and GameCube are on the same level. So wherever I put this, I'm also putting the N64. And the question is, do I like it more than Atari and PS5? And yeah, the answer is yes. And I'm just gonna go ahead and put the N64 there. You know, the GameCube has amazing games. Of course, it's definitely an underrated console. It didn't like sell necessarily incredibly well. But it has so many great games. The controller is awesome. I love just the fact that it is a cube, or it's not a perfect cube, but it's literally just a cube. It's so cute. What did I just say? But yeah, it's just super fun console with so many great games, and for the time was just so awesome to just use. And then same thing with N64. N64 was Nintendo's entry point into like 3D, and it just has some of my favorite like childhood games on it. Pokemon Snap, Pokemon Stadium. That might be it. Pokemon on the N64 was just a different breed. But yeah, man, I absolutely love both these consoles. I think they are amazing. And yeah, they're going in the amazing tier. I will say N64 controller gets too much hate. There you go. I said it. I personally do not have beef with the controller. I think it's fine. The joystick is annoying at times, I will say. But I do not mind the whole 3-prong thing. All right, I'm going to just say I do not mind it. But yeah, again, I kind of grew up with it. So I do know what is that? That is like the Sega handheld, I think, right? Is that the Sega? I don't even know. The NES. This is interesting. The NES, man. Obviously it's iconic. It's revolutionary for the time. I didn't grow up with it. And okay, I'm gonna put it okay. And here's my reasoning is because I do believe if it's even on, is it even on here? Hold on a minute. Wait a minute. Oh, yeah, it is. I do believe the SNES is better in, everywhere. Of course it's better because it came afterwards. But, like, I think the SNES slaps all over the NES. I think the SNES is far superior. Now, where did I put the SNES? I'm going great. It is a great console, even to this day. But the NES obviously has super iconic games, Mario Bros, Tetris, The Legend of Zelda. But the SNES has upgraded versions of all those games. It has things like Super Metroid on it. Has things like Mike Tyson's Punch-Out instead of just Punch-Out on the NES. Like, the SNES really just trumps the NES. And at the end of the day, I do think it is a really, really good console. It's just nothing I'm super attached to, nor would I consider any of my favorites. Now, I will say some of the games, though, are just so great. Absolutely so great. Now, I don't know what this is. It looks like the Genesis low-key, but I don't think it is, so I don't know what that is, to be honest with you. Same thing with that. That also kind of looks like the Genesis in a way, but I know it's not. I think this is the Genesis, what I'm looking at right here, but I'm really not sure. I don't know what this is. Is this like the Amazon Luna or something? Like, what are we looking at right there? The PS1. Hot take, boys. Hot take. I think it's okay. All right. I have a PS1. I'm not gonna lie. Of course, older hardware is going to look super dated. I get that. Dude, I think the PS1 is like dang near unplayable, dude. Like it is really, it's not unplayable, but it's just, granted, I didn't grow up with the PS1. I started on the PS2, right? And I didn't play the PS1 until like recent years. So obviously that's a big part of it. What I will say is, which is, because honestly, what's keeping me from putting it mid is the catalog of games. Very iconic catalog of games. I mean, you have, you know, Final Fantasy VII, you have Resident Evil 2, you have Silent Hill 2, you have no, you don't have Shadow Colossus, that is PS2. You have just so many great games. Crash Bandicoot, Spyro, stuff like that. I just think every PlayStation afterwards does all of it better. I really do. I mean, granted, yes, technology advances, but I don't know. I just it doesn't do it for me. It doesn't do it for me, and I'm sorry. That's just the truth. The Sega Dreamcast, a console that I do believe might be underrated, but I've never played it, so I don't know. I don't know. That one I do not know either. Now I'm gonna assume this is the Genesis. I'm almost positive this is the Genesis, and if that is the case, I would personally put the Genesis on the same tier as the SNES, I think, and the Atari. Super iconic, has some great games. Yeah, it's a fun game. It's a fun console. Fun console. Actually, nah, I'd put it on okay. It does have less than all these. Like, putting it on the same tier as PS3 is kind of interesting to me. Yeah, I'm gonna put it on okay. As you guys can see, I am a modern gamer. That's just how it is. Can't hide the truth. The Game Boy. Again, I'm gonna go okay because the Game Boy Advance is just far superior. But at the same time, it has such a great catalog of games and like exclusive catalog games too. There are a lot of games like I would say like the Wii and then the DS and stuff had a lot of games that were the same game, just like a different version of that game. Whereas the Game Boy had like very separate games completely. And I really do enjoy that. I think it cracked the code for what a comfortable handheld could be. And it really did pave the way for all the future handhelds to release. And yeah, it really is just super iconic, super fun. Xbox One. It's mid. It's mid. It's not trash, because I had fun on it. Like, I'd be lying if I said I didn't spend like pretty much all my middle school years and majority of my high school years playing the Xbox One. I'd be lying if I didn't say that. And I was having fun on it. But looking back on it, the hardware just wasn't it. The exclusive library of games was not it. The company itself was not it. There's just a lot wrong with the Xbox One. But granted, the reason it's not trash is because it does have a good library of games. I mean, anything on the PS4 except for exclusives is on it. And it does have its Xbox exclusives, which, you know, there weren't a lot, but there were some. There were some that were fun. But yeah, I've seen this thing, no idea, like, lawnmower looking stuff. Now, they have PC on here. That's kind of cheating, in my opinion. Because, like, I mean, PC is, come on now. I mean, PC's goated. Like, debatably, it is the best way to play, hands down. I mean, I think it is the best way to play. Do I love PC? No. Personally, I'm like a hero with PC, low key. But like, PC's amazing. I mean, PC's great. Now, here's what I'll say. This is my tier list, and I only want my top 3 consoles in the goated tier, so I am gonna move it down to amazing. Deal with it. Wii U, honestly, a great. Hold on. Ooh. Amazing. I'm gonna say amazing. The Wii U, I think, is super underrated. I'm going great. I'm going. This is really tough. You know, I am going amazing. This is my tier list. I don't care. And that is because the Wii itself is going great. Look, I've said it multiple times. The Wii U is just the Wii, but better. I'm sorry. Without motion controls, with a Pro controller, with some newer games, with a gamepad, and with the Virtual Console. Granted, the store is now shut down, but like, I personally, if I had to choose what console to play today, I'm choosing the Wii U because it's just the better version. And here's the thing: is nostalgia isn't really that big of a factor to me when in a lot of different ways. Like, I'm not gonna say something is better than something else just because of nostalgia. I'm gonna look at like actual quality of things, and I do think the Wii U is just better. I'm sorry. I've said it. It is what it is. 3DS. 3DS is going great because the 2DS or just DS is going okay. Again, great catalog of games, but in this case, a lot of them were just DS versions of games. And I do think they're really fun. I've played them a lot. The Pokemon games on there are specifically the ones I fell in love with the most, but I did love Mario Bros. DS. I loved Mario Kart on there. And yeah, it's just a fun little console. Rhythm Heaven is phenomenal. Bring that back, please. Super duper fun games. But by the way, I'll go ahead and add the Wii. The catalog is awesome. The Wii, both, because you can play every Wii game on the Wii U, plus Wii U games. But just the Wii catalog, having Mario Baseball, Poke Park, stuff like that. Some of my favorite games ever. Amazing. Yeah, I just absolutely love it. PS4 is going in the GOATed category. I mean, this console right here might be responsible for like the gamer I am today, right? Like, granted, and I'm just gonna go and put it, the 360 is the other top 3 console of all time. I just realized the PS5 and Xbox Series X are not on here. I'm gonna tell you where they go later. The PS4 is definitely responsible for majority of my favorite games of all time. And the PS4, in my opinion, has some probably debatably either 1 or 2 the best catalog of exclusive games. The PS4 just delivered masterpiece after masterpiece, and it was really dominant throughout its entire generation. That was the console where I experienced how much I actually loved single-player games, because the Xbox One was the thing I played all multiplayer games on. That was the only console I played for a long time, just playing multiplayer games, Rocket League, Fortnite, Call of Duty, stuff like that. But then I played Spider-Man, I played Ghost of Tsushima, I played God of War, I played Horizon, and I realized, holy crap, those are the games I want to be playing. And now I'm who I am today. And so I do think the PS4 is responsible for that, and that's just because of how good the dang console was. It really just was peak gaming at the time. Same thing with Xbox 360. This also was a console where I did play a lot of single player stuff. I wasn't as invested into them. Like, I didn't really care about like the stories and everything. I just played it, and I found it fun, like Dead Space, just stuff like that. I don't know why Dead Space is like the only one popping in my head right now. Gears of War, stuff like that. And then the Switch is like just obviously the Switch, where I'm at today. And yeah, it really is just so great. And the fact that PS4 is in GOATed and Xbox One is in mid tells you all you need to know about console wars, like, and why there's such a, like, why Xbox fans are rough right now and why PlayStation fans are greedy. But, you know, it is what it is. But yeah, and then the 360 just is... If I had to choose what the best console of all time was, I think it is the 360 right now. I just think it has the best of everything. Outside of the Nintendo Switch probably having the best catalog of games right now and the most variety, like, not variety, just capabilities being handheld and TV. The 360 had online, it had single player, it had exclusives, it had great hardware, it had awesome entertainment, like with TV, movies, stuff like that. It had not online, it had like achievement, avatars, it just had everything. It just had everything, and it is like probably the biggest childhood console of mine. I do think that the 360 is the GOAT right now, but yeah. PS Vita. I never really played it, so I don't know. Didn't really play. PS2 is amazing. The PS2 is amazing. So many great games. Super good hardware for the time. Super influential to me. I just absolutely loved the PS2. Now we do have the Xbox Series X and the PS5 to talk about. So I'm gonna go ahead and put both of those. I'm gonna put both of them in amazing. I think it is what they are. I mean, I think both of them go in amazing. Both of them have exclusives. Both of them have value. Both of them have cool technology. I think if I was putting tier list on generations, like Gen 1, Gen 5, Gen 7, I think this gen would low-key go in like either okay or great. Because the generation's been rough. A lot of layoffs, a lot of issues. Hasn't really delivered on a lot of the promises. But in terms of like the catalog games, how much fun I've had on the consoles and everything, the consoles themselves, I'm putting them both in amazing. Backwards compatibility, especially on the Xbox, is phenomenal. PS5's getting there. They have good backwards compatibility. Not as good as it should be. But yeah, again, a lot of my favorite games of all time have been on these consoles. So I can't help but not put it any higher or put it any lower than that. So yeah, both of them are gonna go amazing, and that's gonna be my tier list, ladies and gentlemen, for every console. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. I'd love to hear what you guys think are some of the best three. Let me know, what is your top three. My top three, my whole trinity, is 360, PS4, and Switch. I do believe the Nintendo Switch 2 will probably be the best console of all time if they just do it right. And yeah, you let me know what you think. But thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Johnny Moore out. Peace.